Alright, just about ready to go with Merchant of Venus. Handed out the money. As usual, when I play a game solo, I'm going to be playing counterclockwise. Just my player order choice. This was essentially randomized. The humans are going first. The way the bags came out, my favorite race, and the one I like, think has actually perhaps the biggest advantage is the Kossuth. They meet a couple of advantages, plus they're into psychotic sculpture, so you know they got to be cool, right? Anyway, most of that's flavor, but the different races are slightly different, so the different players have different things. So we're going to start off with the humans, and what they do, you know what I forgot to mention, you have to announce which space you're moving into. Again, my rules summary for this is not at all intended to be something to fully prepare you for the game, but you have to point out the space that you're planning to move to first. Now, essentially there's two directions that are better, the two I pointed out, in terms of getting you to places. The question is which one is the best in a 6-player game, and damned you don't really know that starting off. This appears kind of nice because you're not going to have to go through all this crap. So blue is going to jump off this way, even though there's a Space City here, which is a little easier to land in and move out of, but not tremendously. He rolls 3 dice because he's got a scout ship with a number 3 on it. And he's going to get to move. And he gets a big 16 movement. Now, I don't remember if you're allowed to count out ahead of time in this or not. I seem to remember it was kind of like in a Rail Baron type game where if you start moving in a direction, you're stuck in it. That's kind of a pain in the ass as far as I'm concerned. It means you end up spending a lot of time counting before you roll any dice or anything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would get me there. 8, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I could not land at another planet, so I'm going to go for the closest one. Sometimes there's an advantage if you get a huge roll, get the jump out ahead of everybody, pass up the nearby stuff. Of course, there's an advantage to the galactic base, which is that in the galactic base, you're allowed to build any kind of ship, and, well, there's no equipment available there. But what you want here is IOUs. I have to end my turn here if I want to trade. Now, actually, when I hit here, I get to peek at the IOU. I don't care. I'm landing anyway. I didn't have any other options. I have found race number 8. Now, I believe I have to reveal that. Maybe I'm mistaken about that. Let me... Hold on, I'll look that up. Yeah, what I was confusing that with is if I'm here and I peek at it, I don't reveal it, but I am landing because now I get to collect the IOU. And I have this over in my, it's with my money. And that's race 8, which are the Winhams. And they have this pile of impossible furniture here. Now here's what's interesting. I'm allowed to buy one thing. I have an $80 credit with the Winhams that I can use. What do I want to buy? It's hard to tell. If I buy a space station, I think those are $100 each. Right now they're $200 each. Sorry, some of the factories are $100 each. The Winham factory costs only $100. So for $20 I could pick up that factory and then nobody else is going to get it. I think that's exactly what I want to do. I think those are generally a good buy early in the game because you're only allowed to buy one thing with your IOU. Now, I could buy furniture for $110, but that would only fill one of my 2 holds, so I'd have to stay an extra round anyway. By buying the factory, here's the problem. By buying the factory, I only get... Let's see what my factory can produce for me. If I look here under Winhams, the other shoes factory, it cost me $80 to buy other shoes. Now, these guys, it has an $80 increase in price. This only has a $70 increase in price. But these conceivably will have demand markers that come out. So there's kind of a question, well, sometimes these are more valuable, but in general, factories are better. So I'm going to spend, I spent that 20 bucks. I'm going to spend the IOU. I'll throw it in the box over here. It'll go in the bag, and now I get the Winham factory. Winhams are 8s. So I got to sort through here. I picked this up, and now I have 100 bucks. That money from my deed is now actually part of my victory conditions. It adds into this 100. I can't do anything here in terms of purchasing, but because I bought that factory, the product the factory makes is now available. Now, if somebody buys this, including me, I get 40 bucks for it. So I could buy this for 100 bucks or for 80 bucks, then I'd get 40 back, right? So I'd have some cash left. Not enough to buy another thing, but that's okay. It turns my money around cheaper. Now the other thing is the Winhams have a little spaceship there, which means they're this kind of industry. I can buy different ships there. Not right now. I can only do one transaction right now. But I could buy a transporter or a freighter. I don't have that kind of money. I could also buy a drive or a laser. The yellow drive is kind of a nice move, but I'm low on cash at this point. I would rather increase my speed later after I make a run, I think. Of course, grabbing a drive right now might get me the jump to another planet. So I'll think about it. But right now I wanted that factory. Now we'll go on to the second player. That's going to be this yellow player. He again gets 3 dice. Which way does he want to go? Well, his best chance is now this way, because here, chances of getting down to a new planet is very low. Getting that IOU is worth it. I can always carve out, go back, return to other people's territory afterwards. So I get an 11 with this dot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nothing interesting there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I didn't explain these suckers, did I? 10, 11. I could end up somewhere interesting, but I'm just going to land here. Well, yeah, I'm just going to land there. I can only peek from up there. I find race 5, and that is these Sheena. Now, what's interesting about them is these mouth pelts that they produce can be sold at Planet 8. So I already have a run there. And in fact, their factory good can as well. So I have a run that'll get me from here down to here and make me cash right away. I also have 90 bucks in my pocket, which I could use. Now, I am the Dell. I'm not this race. Nobody's that race. Somebody is the Winhams, though. This player is a Winham. He gets a discount there. I could use that 90 bucks to build a factory again. What is my turnaround on the factory from this one? Well, let's see. The Sheena have pet monsters. They make a 70 buck increase off the factory goods and only a 60 buck increase off this. The factory is, again, a good deal, except, of course, for the fact that I have to spend my thing. So now, what if I bought this? The Sheena, the pet monsters, would give me, I would essentially spend 40 bucks for that. I'm spending 10. That puts me, okay, so if I buy the factory right now, I spend 10 bucks more for the factory, right? There's my 100. Now, if I buy the pet monsters next turn, it costs me 40. And then I could also buy the mouth pelts for 50. I should have enough money to buy both and then haul them there. That sounds like a good deal. I'm going to buy a factory with them as well. And that gives me 10 bucks back. You know, I forgot to do something. I'm going to need to click my camera off while I do this because I got to put some little things in place. So again, my one purchase is that factory. I got to put a little factory marker here. And that indicates that I own that factory. Just to remind people, if they buy the factory goods, they have to give me the cash. I have to get the little factory counter there. for the goods that the factory produces. And that'll be kicking around here. And then I also forgot to give a little factory to the human player. Alright. Now we come to the Eeps, and they've got the first kind of tricky decision. So, I didn't explain how these suckers move. When I enter into here, I have to choose one of my well, at the first point where I have to make this choice, I have to choose one of my dice to be my navigation die. That's going to direct how I move through these arrow spaces. Or there are some other things like jump gates and stuff like that, where if I choose a navigation die, it's going to affect where and how I can move. Now, personally, I think my best chance of getting something interesting is going into the cloud, because there's asteroids, there's a city, I have lots and lots of choices there. So this is going to be my first space. Now, if I roll nothing... I'm trying to remember how it goes. I think if I only roll 2s, I may not be able to enter there, but I'm not sure. Let's give this a shot. Okay. So I rolled a 13, and I have 3 navigation choices, 4, 3, 6. Now, here's where you have to have these all pre-counted beforehand if you're playing by the rules, but, I don't know, usually that's probably not wise. 1, 2, 3, right? Now, I'm in here. And that's kind of sweet. It might keep other people from going in this direction. Alternatively, I could go for one of these question marks, and maybe if I ride through them, they might be something bad. That's one of the dangers. Let's see about the 3 direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now that'll put me way out here, away from everyone else. Is that terribly good, though? If we look at the location, I got this nasty supernova. No easy way to go through that. This, which is going to be in competition with whoever goes in this direction. And a chance of getting down here, which would be kind of this open new area. I think I'm going to just grab the easy cloud. If I take the 6, 1, 2, well, let's see which way we go. We've got 13 movement. 1, 2, I get to see this. That's bad. I got to pay 20 bucks in order to keep moving. I want to do that. I don't want to let somebody else shift through there particularly, but that's an expense. Now I go here. Now I can peek at this. That's not a terribly good amount of money. Let's look at the race 4A. They have an expensive $200 factory. However, I can use the cash from that to shift stuff up here conceivably. So far I've moved 1, 2, 3. I've got 10 more. With a 6, I could get to here. Yeah, I chose a 6. That wasn't wise. If I had chosen a 4 instead, I could head up this way. And that would get me in my own little world, I think. Let's say I did that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I don't get a landing immediately. But now I'm all the way over here. I'm going to peek at this. That's a much, much more valuable IOU, which is nice. It happens to be my home planet, which is nice. I will be getting things cheaper there. And I think that worked out quite well for me. I'm happy with my move, although it cost me money and I took kind of a risk heading that way. All right, on to the next player. Yeah, we're going to do the first turn on one big video. And then we'll kind of speed up things as we go. But the next player is Red. Red sees, I got a nice opening in the cloud. I'm going to roll 3 dice and go into the cloud as well. Even though there's this nasty navigation hazard, I get a 12. I'm going to have to go through that hazard. 1, 2. I want to pay. Now, did I roll a 1, 5, or 6? That's a good question. 5 would shoot me over here. 3. I peek at this. Oh. Where did he go? Oh, Jesus. Oh, he shot down this way. Okay. Again, I'm not too impressed with it. 1, 2, 3. I could go look here and try to shoot over there. Or I could be choosing a 1. And these decisions had to be made when I hit this. I just don't like thinking like that, which is one of the reasons I don't like this game terribly much. The thoughts that you have to make early in your turn are painful. See, that 1 would allow me to shift down this way. The 5 puts me in here, which is more in competition. I'm going to take the 1, I think. 12, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Puts me all the way down here. That's not terribly nice. I don't like the 6. What if I took a 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nah, I can't get it through there. Yeah, I picked the 5 and I go this way. I'm going to look at this space. I find a telegate. Now, if there was another telegate in play, what that would do is if another one had my navigation number, I would slip through to that other one. So if telegate 5 was open and available and known to exist, I would just jump through there because I've already picked my navigation number. Now I got to recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm following the 5. 7. No. 8, 9, 10, 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't remember if it costs 2 to land. Let's try counting again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got to look up to see if it costs 2 to land. Something in my head says it does. Yeah, these surfaces cost 2, so I got to go this way. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I found a relic. Relics are awesome. I'm going to pick this up. This particular one, and yes, I hate counting. I'm allowed to carry as many relics as I like on my ship. They don't take any space. Now this particular one's called Jump Start. What that means, if I remember correctly, and I'm pretty sure I do, is I can declare that I'm jump starting at the moment that before I roll my dice. And then based on the navigation number I pick at that moment when I roll the dice, I can jump to the telegate that I like. Based on that number. So if I roll a 4, let's say I call a jump start, if I roll a 4 on one of my dice, I can pick that as my navigation and jump into here. If I don't roll an existing jump space, then it doesn't really help much. Or I may roll one that I don't want, in which case I have to pick a navigation number other than that to foil the jump start. Now, the fact that I picked this up stops me here. I think I'm pretty safe. I don't think anybody's going to come down to this area on the first move of the game, so I got kind of a neat jump there. Now we go over to the Wynnum. They're the black player, and hell, they'll go into the cloud too. It seems to be working for everyone else. And they got double on one number. It kind of sucks to get multiple of one number when you're going into something like the cloud with a lot of navigation numbers. But they got a 10. They'll be able to at least get here. And their other direction goes up this way. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They can't land there, but they could check another thing. Everybody's passed this by. I think they're going to do that because they're not interested in it. They figure everybody thinks that sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, my number was a 3 that I picked for my navigation. If I had picked the 4 and somehow gotten here, which would have been impossible, I would immediately spend my next move to get here. Okay, so let's count again because I hate counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to move to here 10. So I see another thing. Maybe I pick something up. It's a penalty space. So I've used up all my movement so I can stop there. By the way, I get to peek at this as I go by there. Alright, that's not too bad. All right. Now we're at the fourth player, which is the Knicks, the green player, and, well, they'll also dive into the cloud. It looks like it's still a good option. Nobody's taken the closest thing. I've got a pretty good chance of making it there. I get a 10 with lots of options, but many of these have been used. Okay. I could take the 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but I'm no better than that guy was. I don't want to do that. That's getting too crowded. 1 and a 6. 1, 2. See, that's painful. I have to pay. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I can't get there. I can't stop here because I'm still moving. I've got to, the only place I can stop is on asteroids, penalties, things like that. You've got to keep moving otherwise. Let's say I took the 6. 1, 2, 3. All right, I could stop there. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For 40 bucks I could make it there, but nobody's down here. I'm going to pay 20 bucks for a turn. You know what? I'm going to stop here. I think I've got this nice open route with lots of good stuff there. I'm not going to pay money. I'm good. I'm going to take it slow. All right. We've made it all the way around. Everybody's done one thing. I'm going to load this up. I know it took a lot of time, especially because I got to count, and I hate counting. If I've ever said, I know I've said on the boards a number of times, this is my AP. I count. 1, 2, 3. I forget it. Then I got to go another route and count it. This game is pure AP hell for me. True analysis paralysis, because I cannot remember what number, what happens when I count out bunches of routes, okay? I have a lot of trouble with this in 18xx too, to tell you the truth, but most of my tracks, most of the time, I don't have to count that many times. Usually early in the game, straight track. Later in the game, I only got 1 train. If I've got 2 trains, I can figure out my optimal track for that once, and then I just run it every time. But this game, I gotta figure out and count all the time, and I hate counting. I'm good with math, I just don't like counting.